So my computer has crashed, so I am recording this podcast live straight to my phone using the in-app edit on Podbean. Fingers crossed, we'll see how this goes. Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. Hello and welcome on board flight episode 23 of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. I'm your host and captain, Geoff at Willis, and each week I'll be taking flight to talk fantasy Premier League football. You can find the podcast on a whole selection of podcast services. Just search Captain's Pick. We're on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Acast. Whatever podcast service you listen to, you can find us. Just search Captain's Pick. On today's show, I'll be reviewing Game Week 22. Talk transfers and my captain's pick, and I'll finish off with a preview of Game Week 23. As ever, a quick reminder of the half-season Community League, which we set up from Game Week 20, so scoring started in Game Week 20. It's a Community League, and we're also raising money for Cancer Research UK. All the links to the Just Giving page and the league code will be in the description of this podcast and in my Twitter bio. A quick shout out to the top 10 managers in the league. Counting down from 10 to 1, we have Lewis King, Faizam Kazmi, a friend of the show Aaron Boyle, Diva Gus, Emka Chidley, Halancia Sapatura, Piyush Sharma, Edric Lasungu, Divine Shikari, and in at number 1 is Ryan Lee with his team 50 Shades of O'Shea, who had a good game week, scored 77 points and is on a total of 215 points. I am currently moved up a few places, but I'm 54th in that league. We have about 80 odd people now who have joined the league. So thanks so much for everyone for joining the league, and to anyone who has contributed to the Just Giving page. Yeah, we're up to 82 people in the league, so really happy with that and how that is going. And the league code, again, that will be in the description, but one last time I'll just say it's 1010060-1308938. But again, all those details in the podcast description and in my Twitter bio. Okay, so reviewing Game Week 22 now. If you listened to last week's podcast, you'll know that I rolled a transfer. So didn't make any transfers and I had a really good week this week. I hit my target of 60 points. That's what I try and aim to get every game week. And I hit 69 points this game week. That was 20 points above the average points, which was 49. So that has left me on overall points of 1,301. And overall rank, I jumped up about 30,000 places to 130k. So definitely within touching distance of that 100k, inside the 100k target that I have. And I'm also doing well in my mini leagues. So my two main friends and family mini leagues, I'm top in both of those. So and that again, that was the main target at the end of the season, was one of those I'm currently the back-to-back champion in. So it'd be great to get the triple championship there. But the other league I've never won. I came second in it last season, so I'm looking to win that for the first time. So that is going really well. So a review of how my squad did last week in game week 22. Starting with my goalkeeper, Fabianski, excellent. Got me 9 points, got that clean sheet at home to Arsenal. Was not expecting that, so that was definitely bonus points there. He got the clean sheet and 2 bonus points and some save points. So brilliant from him, exactly what I needed. Again, he's doing so well this season, and he's the 4th joint top goal scorer for points, even though he's way less. He's got way less clean sheets than a lot of the other keepers up there, but he just does get lots of save points, bonus points, penalty saves, and then when you add in a clean sheet, it's he's just excellent value. I brought him in at 4.5. I think he's at 4.7 now, so I think I made 0.1 on him. So that's been a really good transfer when I brought him in on my wildcard. So my defence, Robertson, brilliant as ever, consistent, got the clean sheet, all 3 bonus points. I think it's exactly what I said on the pod last week. Just love his consistency, and again brought him in on my wild card as well. So those two have really worked out well. As well as my next defender, Luca Dean. He's been brilliant since I brought him in. I think I got him in at either 4.7 or 4.8. He's now up to 5.3, so made some good value on him. He got me a clean sheet, 3 bonus points and an assist. So a massive 12-point haul from him. Superb. I'm probably just going to keep him in for the rest of the season, even though Everton's fixture, they've still got a good few fixtures coming up. But then it's sort of one good, one bad, one good, one bad for the rest of the season then. But he's so dangerous because he's on set pieces, corners, free kicks, and he's got the ability, he puts in loads of crosses, so ability for assists. So even if the clean sheets dry up, he's so attacking that I think I'll just have to leave him in. Likewise with Doherty, wasn't expecting anything from him. Man City away. Got 1 point, that's fine. But again, like Digne, he's so attacking. Wolves' fixtures have turned now. They've got some really decent fixtures coming up the next 4 to 6 game weeks. So looking forward to seeing him back on the big hauls, attacking points, and hopefully some clean sheets would be nice too. Then I had Alonso, disappointing. Said last week he was on thin ice. Only got the 2 points. No clean sheet at home to Newcastle. That is disappointing. No attacking returns. And he's been dropping in value as well. So it's not been a good week for Alonso. A lot of people have transferred him out this week. And it'll be one of the weeks where away at Arsenal you wouldn't expect anything from him. And he'll probably come up with a clean sheet and he'll score a free kick and get an assist and get a massive haul. I don't think that will happen. But knowing the way FPL works sometimes, I wouldn't be surprised. So he is on thin ice. Chelsea got some decent fixtures in the next few. So if I can hold on to him because he is expensive, and I could release some cash from him. But I'm probably just looking to keep on him for the next few weeks just to see if he turns a corner at all. And coming in off my subs bench was Bednarek of Southampton. He got me 2 points to say I wasn't expecting much from him. He was second on my subs bench, but with Kamara and Ings not playing at all, he came in to make it a back 5. But he's a cheap enabler. That's all I have him in for the team, is that if I do have players that don't play, that he comes in and at least gets the 2 appearance points. So that's fine. In my midfield, slightly disappointing from Hazard. Got the assist. Chelsea just need a striker. It looks as though, as recording this on Friday morning, Higuain is on his way to London. And I believe there's a chance he may even be able to be included in the Arsenal team. The Chelsea team to play Arsenal tomorrow. which is the late game on Saturday. So if he does, I think that could be an excellent boost for Hazard. At times last week, he was doing some amazing turns, but he was just having nobody else to play off. No number 9 to sort of do any 1-2s with, or anyone running beyond the defence, which he could provide assists, and it would also create gaps as well for him to work in. So definitely need a good striker. Whether Higuain does that or not, we'll have to see. He's on thin ice, but currently when I go into my transfers, and you'll see that pretty happy with keeping him in for the next few weeks. I've got quite a lot of heavy hitters. City are the only team I won't have coverage from, so if he fails to deliver in the next few, then I'll be definitely looking into probably ship him out for a City midfielder. But for the moment, I'll be holding, because no doubt he'll, like Alonso, a lot of people got rid of Hazard this week, he'll probably go in Hull. The next two players I'll group together, so Richarlison and Felipe Anderson. Was hoping for big Christmases from both of these. Both had great fixtures, and they've both blanked in 3 games in a row now, so that's been really disappointing. But on the flip side, when you see some of the games, and you certainly look into some of the stats, Richarlison's been having loads of shots, lots of shots in the box. Had one cleared off the line last week, so was unlucky not to get some points there. And similarly to with Anderson, I watched the West Ham Arsenal game, and I thought he was excellent. Played a great game. Could have definitely got assists, close on a couple of goal attempts. Looked really, really decent. So, and they hit West Ham have got Bournemouth next. Everton have got Southampton next. So I've got to try and persist with them. Of course, if both blank in the next game, that would be 4 blanks in a row. I'm not sure how much more my patience could hold out then. We'd have to wait and see. But I think I've got good feelings about both of them going into the next match. So they delivered 2 points and 3 points respectively. Disappointing, but hauls are on the horizon for both of them, I feel. And then my captain, Salah, superb. I don't think he's ever let me down when I've captained him. So he got a bonus, all 3 bonus points for 1, superb, clean sheet point and a goal scored. So a total of 11 points, double for the captain, 22 points. What can you say? Consistency, and he will be my captain for the next 4 or 5 game weeks. Because my one and only striker playing, because Ings and Camera both didn't start, was Kane up front. Was unlucky. I thought he had a few chances to score against United. So it was a bit unlucky to not get more points there. So he just got the 2 points, but obviously picked up that injury, which he's out now for until maybe early March. So thankfully, as I said at the start of the podcast, I saved those 2 free transfers from last week. And so it definitely put me in a lot better position this week. So I feel like I got a bit lucky with the Kane injury in a way, because it's meant I've released a hell of a lot of cash and been able to bring in two excellent players and transfer out 2 players that I know aren't going to play. So that has benefited me in a way. So, but yeah, so decent. Really happy with that game week. 69 points, back on track to get inside that top 100k. And yeah, let's just hope for a decent. That was a green arrow. I don't think I've strung 2 green arrows together in so many weeks, but it'd be nice just to try and get 2 or 3 in a row to really kind of cement my position in the overall rank inside that top 100k. Okay, so moving on then to my transfers, and it's been a pretty volatile week in the transfer market on FPL and in real life, I suppose, with lots of price rises, price changes. At the start of the week, straight after game week 22 finished, it looked as though Harry Kane was injured, wasn't confirmed, so I took a big risk because I definitely wanted Kane in for Spurs' up-and-coming excellent fixtures. Took a risk. I just thought, I think he's getting injured. Basing that not on too much, but he might have been dropping in price, but Rashford was going up in price, and I wanted Rashford. He looked excellent against Tottenham. It's been great goal-scoring form. Man United are on such a high at the moment. Such positivity coming out from that starting 11. I wanted Rashford. So in came Rashford for Harry Kane, which released about 5.5 million in cash. And it obviously meant I beat the price rise. And it looks like Rashford might have 2 price rises this game week. So I would have already made money on him already. A lot of my rivals also had Rashford as well, so it was a no-brainer to get him in. In terms of my other free transfer, I actually made last night, so I sort of umming and ahhing really. The plan before Kane got injured was possibly to bring in Rashford or Pogba, because I definitely wanted some United coverage, which would have meant I needed a downgrade elsewhere, which might have been Hazard, maybe down to a City player, or potentially Alonso down to maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold and have the Liverpool double up, or even just downgrade Robertson for TAA for that Liverpool coverage. But then, of course, TAA then got announced injured early in the week. So I got saved by these 2 transfers, by these 2 injuries, to be honest, because I probably would have gone early and brought in TAA and Rashford, and then I would have been stuck with an injured player. So that would have been annoying. So I think I did get a bit lucky, in honest truth. So obviously downgrading to TAA wasn't an option then. And obviously with Kane out meant I could just get in Rashford, no problems. And so then really it was a case of, what do I do with that other 5.5 million? Of course, I could roll the transfer one more time and have 2 frees next week. But that's just, knowing me, that 5.5 is just going to burn a hole in my pocket. So I wanted to bring someone else in. Options were to upgrade one of my midfield, maybe Anderson or Richarlison, or KL, who's my cheap enabler, and pretty much go to any midfielder I wanted. So Sane was an option, Pogba an option, and then up front I could have upgraded Ings to something like Aubameyang or Aguero. But in the end, a lot of my rivals have this player, and for the same reasons as I said I brought in Rashford, I've brought in Pogba. So Pogba came in for KL. I'm keeping Richarlison and Anderson and Hazard, because I feel that a haul's coming for all 3 of those players, and I know a lot of people would have got rid of those players already. It meant I could keep Robertson, which is great because he's turning out to be like player of the season. Meant I could keep Alonso as well, which I know a lot of people have got rid of. And again, I just feel like a haul's on the way around the corner for him. And it meant that my original transfer a few weeks back, when I brought in Ings, and he, I think as I discussed on the podcast, was going to be flirting between starting in the starting 11 or as a first sub that I knew would play and had potential for points, because there's still a fair bit of rotation going on in teams at the moment. So, and he was cheap enough for me to bench, so I don't mind having him as first sub. So I didn't really felt like it was a bit of a waste to upgrade him. So brought in Pogba, which has still left me with 1.4 in the bank. And has definitely meant now a switch in formation. So if I click on my team then for this game week here, so game week 23, which deadline is Saturday, that's tomorrow, 19th of Jan at 11:30 in the morning. I'll remind you again at the end of the podcast. So my squad formation now going forward is a 4-5-1, which gives me options. I could bring Ings into that and make it a 3-5-2. Could go with a 4-4-2, but there's no one I'd really want to drop in my midfield at the moment. So 4-5-1 is the formation, but I say with that, Danny Ings looks like he's back from injury now. Whether he'll start or get subs appearance in the next match, I'm not sure, but happy to have him as first sub. And Bednarak as a second sub, and Kamara, who looks like he may even be leaving Fulham, he'll be third sub. Can't see him getting any game time, and he may even leave the Premiership, so don't mind sticking him back there as the third substitute. In terms of my captain's pick, so my plan going into this game week, before Kane got injured, was probably to captain Kane away at Fulham. Obviously that option was ruled out, and then the only option for me is Salah captain. Superb consistency. He's at home. Crystal Palace, decent at the back as well. There's always a chance of top teams scoring hatfuls, but I wouldn't have thought there'd be a lot of goals in this, but he's so consistent. I just got to keep the armband on him and see what happens. Other options for captain's pick, maybe Pogba or Rashford, but again, Brighton aren't too bad at the back. I still fancy United to probably go big in that game. But having just brought both of them in, whether to captain them would be maybe slightly risky. Happy to just go with Salah. I know so many other people will captain Salah. He's pretty highly owned now, getting up to nearly 50%. So happy just to stick it on him. But obviously really happy now to have United coverage, and that definitely sort of puts me in a defending position that I can hold off a lot of my rivals as well, and also get in on those points and hopefully boost me up the overall rank. So my squad then going into game week 23 is Fabianski in goal, a back four of Robertson, Alonso, Doherty and Digne, a power five in midfield, love that phrase, Salah captain, Richarlison, Hazard, Felipe Anderson and Pogba, with Rashford up front. Really happy with how that squad's taken shape. Of course, Man United was not an option for me pre-Christmas before Jose went, and that everything's changed since then. So I've had to manoeuvre my strategy and my squad plans to add them in. Obviously, Kane getting injured, massive bonus here in terms of my structure, because I probably would have had to choose either Rashford or Pogba. If I'd had both of them, I'd probably would have had to take a -4 hit. So I'll definitely, as this game week 23 develops, and then analysing it once it's finished, I'll be looking in to see where a -4 points hit, what damage that would have given me, who outscores Pogba or Rashford. Again, would have been a tight call. So it'll be interesting to see how those play out. And then sort of a quick preview then into the fixtures and in relation to my squad as well. So Wolves home to Leicester in the early game, 12:30. Doherty in this match. Hard to call. Leicester a sort of difficult team to really to predict their results. Could be a clean sheet in here for Wolves. Not a massively attacking Leicester. But again, wouldn't rule out Doherty get attacking points here. Just a tough game to call. I fancy Wolves to probably just nick it, but it's a game where Doherty could definitely do well in that game. Bournemouth home to West Ham. Obviously got Fabianski and Felipe Anderson. If Felipe plays like he did last week against Arsenal, I can definitely see him scoring points against a weak Bournemouth defence. Bournemouth have, I think, near enough scoring every single match they play, so wouldn't be expecting a clean sheet here from Fabianski, but after last week's performance, you never know. Fancy that to maybe be like 2-2 draw, something like that. Fair few goals in it, I reckon. Liverpool at home to Palace. Robertson and Salah, expecting clean sheet points here maybe, and an assist from Salah, maybe a goal. Don't think it'd be masses, but just as long as I get something from that captain's pick, an assist, something, just helps your game week scores so much. If you compare my game week last week to this week, just having that extra 11, 12 points from my captain just boosts you up the overall ranks, and it's so much better for your game week if you can hit that captain's pick. Man United home to Brighton. Similar to the Liverpool Palace game here, I wouldn't expect loads of goals, but I wouldn't be surprised if United go big on points. So my two transfers, both being United players, Pogba and Rashford, hoping that there's decent points coming from them in their debut for my team. Newcastle at home to Cardiff. Looked at potential Cardiff defensive option going forward. Been okay defensively recently. Newcastle up and down again. Never quite tell what they're going to do. Could see that being 0-0 to be honest. So maybe Cardiff defensive, a cheap enabler to look at potentially going forward. But I'll just keep an eye on that one. Southampton at home to Everton. Southampton definitely been playing better. I've obviously got Digne and Richarlison. Could see points from both of these here from a clean sheet perspective or attacking points. I'll also have Bednarak and Ings from Southampton, but on my bench. So if they stay on the bench, then I'm hoping Everton do get a 2 or 3 nil here, and Digne and Richarlison in the points. I don't think maybe Ings might come off my bench, but we'll see. Maybe a 2-0 to Everton, 2-1 to Everton, maybe there. Ings could come off the bench to get a goal. So again, bit of a tricky one to call there. Watford at home to Burnley. No one in this one. Burnley certainly turned a corner recently. Watford have been pretty decent attacking wise. 1-1 draw there. Maybe Watford nicking a 2-1. Then the late game on Saturday, my team Chelsea away to Arsenal. I can't see clean sheets from either side here, to be honest. But this could be similar to the Stamford Bridge result in the reverse fixture. Could see this maybe being a 3-2 to 1 the sides. Hopefully Chelsea with Hazard and Alonso doing bits. I'll go for 3-2 Chelsea, but I think there will be goals in that game. And then on the Sunday, that will be me out from Saturday night. I'll have no players playing on Sunday. Well, unless you count Camara, who's third on my bench, who I think are probably going to leave Fulham anyways. They're at home to Spurs. Did expect Spurs to win that pretty comfortably before the Kane injury. Now it's sort of a little bit of an unknown. Don't know how Spurs are going to set up, who they're going to play. Will it be Llorente, or will they bring more up front with like Lamela and Ali and Eriksen just behind? Obviously, Son now is away at the Asia Cup. So I'd still expect Spurs to win that, but it's far from certain from when Kane and Son would have been in the team. And the other game on Sunday, Huddersfield at home to Man City. No City coverage from me. This was obviously the 6-1, I think, in the first half of the season. Aguero got that hat-trick, who I captained him in that one. So managed to captain that hat-trick, which was great. This could be a cricket score, or it could be quite tight because Huddersfield managers just left. Will the players all group together, really put a massive effort into this game? I'd still expect City to probably win 2 or 3-0, but who's going to play? Will it be Mahrez, Sterling, Sane, Aguero, Jesus, Silva, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne? So hard to pick one of their players. That's why I've just kind of stayed away from them, to be honest. I like players who play, and I think that's what you need in your starting. You can maybe have a couple of players that are rotation risks, maybe one, but I like players who play. I want players on the pitch scoring points. So that's kind of my mentality going forwards. So that's the fixtures and my squad for game week 23, and I think that's where I'm going to land the show. Hopefully this recording it this way doesn't sound too bad. Fingers crossed it comes out all right, fine, but hopefully I'll have my laptop in working order for next week, and we'll get a better podcast. But we'll see. Maybe this turns out not too bad. So, but bear with me on that. A reminder that the Game Week 23 deadline is Saturday, 11:30 a.m. That's tomorrow. If you're listening to this on your commute on the way home Friday, tomorrow at 11:30. A reminder that I'll be tweeting FPL Gold from the Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod. So if you're on Twitter, look out for that. And I think that's where I'll be finishing off the show. Reminder that the league code for the half-season community league will be in the podcast description and on my Twitter bio, along with my details of the Just Giving page, raising awareness for Cancer Research UK. Okay, so good luck with game week 23. From your captain and host, it's been my pleasure to talk with you. Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.